YouTube channel. Welcome back to my live stream. Welcome back to WWE Monday Night Raw review. This is Jacob Cast 2024. It took me a while to start this live stream, but I think I'll make the I think I'll make this live stream like an hour or 10 minutes. We'll see how we do. Make sure you guys enjoy that video. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section if y'all want to see more. My video is sponsored by my favorite podcasters. Good Might Work Commentary, No DQ, Fightful Wrestling, Joe Cronin, JD from New York, Salamanca Sound Off, and the other podcasters that I know of. Now this is the go home show for Backlash. Backlash had a 2-week build. We have a lot to talk about. I enjoyed this show. I actually enjoyed this show than SmackDown. Because SmackDown last week, SmackDown on Friday was fucking boring. It was awful. The show was nothing. It was nothing special. Here it was a lot better. We had storyline. We had, by the way, Heyman crashes out. We had Rusev made his in-ring return. Becky Lynch calls out Lyra. They had a good face to face. We had Jey Uso versus CM Punk for the world title. We Jey Uso and Seth Rollins for the world title, and then CM Punk returned. He cost Seth Rollins the match. So I'm glad that Punk came back. When is Woman gonna come back? Karma is a bitch. Now this is what we got on Monday Night Raw. This is how the show started with Paul Heyman confronting Jey Uso, and that's when they teased the main event with Seth and Jey. It was pretty early. I think they're planting seed for Seth to take that title. Not now. Seth Rollins learns he will battle Jey Uso for the world title. We had a segment with them, and Braun Breaker was in that segment as well. Penta defeated JD McDonough despite content interference by Chad Gable, who got involved in this match. It was a filler match. We had a pretty good segment here with Karrion Kross gives his thought on Sami Zayn. We had the return of Sheamus. Sheamus made a return to take down Austin Theory. Austin Theory jobbing out once again. Sheamus came back. Happy to see Sheamus. He's definitely going to be in the IC title picture. He actually might be Dominic, I think. Sheamus is going to be built to take that title. Happy to see Sheamus. Had a decent reaction. Okay, man, for Austin Theory. Poor Austin Theory, man. Jobber status. We had a backstage segment with AJ Styles invade the Judgment Day locker room. AJ Styles said he's coming for the IC title. Maybe they're teasing something here with Balor and AJ. I thought we had an okay 7 here. A very good 7 with Becky and Lyra. Get into a massive brawl here. Now this is going to be on back. I'm looking forward to this match. The match will be very, very good. The two got history. They went back. Very good. I'm glad we're making the IC title for the woman interesting. We got Io Sky and Roxanne Perez was a very good match. They had a very good match. They put on a banger. Io Sky got the victory in a very good match. Julia and Roxanne attacked Io after the match was over. There was no Rhea Ripley. Rhea was not on TV tonight. She might be taking time off for something. I don't think Io Sky is defending her title at the pay-per-view. I'm not sure Tiffany Stratton is either. I don't think they need to since they already defended it 2 weeks ago at WrestleMania. So I guess they're gonna take a break because Tiffany doesn't really have a big feud right now. Io Sky doesn't have a big feud. Well, they gave away her match with Roxanne Perez. I don't think Julia's gonna be on. I don't think Julia getting a title shot anytime soon. But they are building up something. We could look at a triple threat match. Maybe Rhea, if she gets involved. She didn't get involved here. She wasn't on the show. We got Rusev defeat Otis in like what, a squash match? It lasted like a couple of minutes. Rusev destroyed the Alpha Academy. He beat Otis. He beat up Akira Tozawa. That's not looking good for Rusev. Hardy got no reaction. Just like Al Black, he beat the Miz. No one cares. Hope we do something with Rusev. Maybe they can do a match for him with Sheamus or Penta or something. Hopefully. We had a very good promo here with Gunther vowed to annihilate Pat McAfee at W Backlash. Very good back and forth here with these two. I'm looking forward to the match. I'm curious how this match can be, but I thought Pat looked great. Gunter needs to look like a savage here against Pat. Um, Now let's see all the podcasters.
Hey, I'm Brother Nature. My sister, Mother Nature, grows everything organic, but she needs me to make things believable. Like, he didn't feel believable yet before to me. Even with all the heat stuff and everything, it felt like somebody didn't belong yet. Like, why is he? But it was like, and even the minute he won the title, it was like, well, that was a better match than last year's WrestleMania. So that's good. He had a better match to win the belt. That's okay. That's good. And
he has now. So yes, there's an idea. Give him the Messiah music. That'll work. I thought that music was fine, and I'm pretty sure that was Def Rebel. So that'll work. Yes, 8 out of 10 for Raw. Definitely recommend. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate the viewership and support as always. Thursday night, we'll be doing the predictions for Backlash. And then Wednesday night, I'll be discussing Dynamite. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Have a great week, everyone. Stay safe out there.
Oh, he about to end his. Okay.
I'm going to make sure I go out with a bang. I love that. It's phenomenal. Like Becky being back, this is a little bit of an alteration from what we have seen. And I think that Becky's going to really get into gear.
As you guys know, the big news here, Alberto Del Rio signed by WWE. So Del Rio coming back to the company after like what, 8 years? Had to be like 9 years, I think, like since last time we saw him. Oh boy, what can happen there?
Bother updating my thumbnail. I just put the beginning of Jay and Seth on there. That would work fine. And there we go. Now I got it kind of where I want it to be. But anyway, before we get into Monday Night Raw tonight, let's talk about the situation today regarding Alberto Del Rio. So there's not a lot of news today. I got up like usual. I'm going to go do my blood procedure. I'm at the doctor's office there, reading through social media and reading through the Twitters and seeing all this fuss about Alberto Del Rio being signed by WWE. We don't really know if that's the case. Here's how it all kind of started. I guess Ernesto Ocampo, he was the one who posted all of the AAA wrestlers whose contracts have been picked up by WWE, I guess. And they were names that included Alberto Del Rio, Hio de Dr. Wagner, Vikingo, La Parca, La Hedra, Lady Flammer, Lady Maravilla, and Nino Hamburguesa. Yes, I would definitely pick him up. So that was one of the first things to come out, that those contracts, I guess, were, for better term, absorbed by WWE. But then Lucha Blog had some information that kind of retorted this a little bit. But again, I think both could be right here. And here's what Lucha Blog had to say. Many fans, especially in the US, are assuming that by buying AAA, WWE is also a cry.
All right, now let's look into the other podcasters.
You shop, the closer you get to winning $100,000 in cash or driving off in a luxury SUV.
Bothered to go check how much they're selling for. An unannounced World Heavyweight Championship match tonight, with Jey Uso defending his title. SummerSlam main event, this could have been your Money in the Bank main event, but we got it tonight. Seth Rollins challenging Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins is not
the World Heavyweight Champion. What we got was the return of CM Punk, cleaning house with a steel chair. At the end of the show, we had the return of Sami Zayn after what happened to him on the show last week. So Heyman's crew foiled to close out what on the whole was actually a very enjoyable show. You don't always get these with these go-home shows.
Yeah, I agree. Monday Night Raw was a lot better. It was better than SmackDown. And SmackDown on Friday was just fucking boring. Nothing happened. And the crowd was dead most of it. But here, Raw was actually very enjoyable. Very good show. Very nice go-home show. Can't wait to see what can happen at Backlash.
But it closed out what I thought overall was a good show. What they did announce tonight for Saturday was a championship match, not the world title, but the Intercontinental title is going to be defended. This kind of came out of nowhere with Dominic Mysterio, or at least, not that it came out of nowhere completely, but I wasn't expecting it on the Backlash card. But we're going to have Dominic Mysterio title against Penta, who was part of that four-way match at WrestleMania. Penta did not walk out with the championship. He also didn't take the losing fall. He won't have that luxury, though, of Backlash on Saturday, unless he's winning it, and I don't think he is. But that match is now official for the card on Saturday. But what we also had was the reinstatement of Gunther. He was banned. He was suspended after his actions a couple of weeks ago against Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. And by request of McAfee, he said, look, I want him back. I want you to unsuspend him so that I could wrestle him at Backlash. We already knew that was happening. But as of this morning, he was unsuspended, and so he was on the show tonight for one last face-to-face with Pat McAfee before Backlash. And this right here was one of the best things on the entire show. This, if you were not sold on this match on Saturday, you may not be able to be sold because you may not like Pat McAfee as an opponent for Gunther, and I get it. I understand it. But I think they did as good of a job as you possibly could have asked for. That last little bit of hype on the final episode of Raw to get you pumped up for a match like this. I thought they knocked it out of the park. They did a very good job with that. We'll talk about that. You know, we had a bunch of things on the show tonight. Not only did we have all of the things that you mentioned, we had a World Heavyweight Championship match. We had the return of CM Punk. We had Gunther and Pat McAfee face-to-face. We had the return of Sheamus. We haven't seen him since the Royal Rumble. So we had the return of Sheamus in the ring tonight. We had a pretty good match between Io Sky and Roxanne Perez. Turned out to be, again, sometimes these go-home shows, they can be a drag. But not this one. I enjoyed this one. But I must tell you, before we go any further, that we have breaking news. Yes, breaking as of a few hours ago. But we do have breaking news. Spoiler, for those of you who, I don't know how many of you this would actually account for, but for those of you who watch Speed, which is their show on X every single week, this is a Speed spoiler. So cover your ears and shield your eyes if you don't want to know what happens on Speed this week because it hasn't aired yet. But I must tell you, celebration is underway before Raw tonight to become the new Speed champion.
Grande Americano, aka Chad Gable, is now Speed champion. I'm not sure they count that.
Is if you are new here, or if you're not, you're just lurking. Lurk no more. Hit that subscribe button. Super chats are open. You will see them popping up on your screen here as we go along. Oh my God. They make that. They did. Very first title defense after he won the championship in 1996. That match, that great match that he had with Big Daddy Cool Pizza. That was in Omaha. Good friends, better enemies. I've always remembered Logan Paul. He did get Paul, but he got the wrong one. He got Paul Heyman, who walked out to booze and he introduced himself as he made his way down to the ring. Paul Heyman, yeah, I wish I would have. Paul Heyman looked like fucking roasted turkey on Thanksgiving. This man, he was so brown. He thought Bronze Breaker was something last week. He got into the jar of self-tanner that Bronze Breaker was using, and Paul Heyman looked just like him today. Seth Rollins is the odd man out here. Seth Rollins has to get in on this because he's looking quite pale compared to his counterparts. I mean, it's ridiculous. He looked like an Oompa Loompa. He looked ridiculous. So Heyman said he wanted to say something to Jay, who responded by saying that Heyman had a lot of balls coming into the heat was intense for Heyman. You could tell the heat was intense. He looked like he was, boiling for 450 on Thanksgiving. And he questioned if Reigns thought that he was going to share all of his secrets with Punk. Why would I do that yet? Heyman said he found a stray dog on the island of irrelevancy and turned him into the man who had a record-setting title run over 1,300 days as champion. Said that he wasn't the one who lost that championship at WrestleMania 40 to Cody Rhodes. Heyman said he spent 5 years building up Roman Reigns, and then when he lost, he disappeared. And he left Heyman in the hands of Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. Heyman said Roman came back to get his Ulafala back. He said Reigns couldn't handle the fact that he wanted to help out his best friend. And then Heyman yelled about how he's always labeled the scumbag. And he starts shouting, and I can't even replicate this, but he's shouting. Like, he looks like he is about to drop. Okay, he is ranting. He is raving. He's foaming at the mouth. He's spitting. I would say he's turning red. He kind of was, but it was hard to tell because he was so brown. I think I saw some red shining through the brown. And he's yelling and he's going, I'm right. And you blame me. Screw you. He's talking to Jay now. And screw each and every single one of you for booing. I was watching this, and I was seriously concerned for this man's health. Yes, he was crashing out. That's exactly what he was doing. He was crashing out here. He looked very all of that power. He doesn't know how to wield all of that leverage. He said that while Jay wants to be champion, Seth Rollins has to. And because Rollins will fight him anytime, any place. And Heyman dropped the mic. He was about to leave the ring. Jay said, hold on a second. And he got in Heyman's face and he said, it's on tonight. And Heyman had this shocked look on his face, like he didn't just tell this man anytime, any place. His eyes were bugging out of his head. He was shocked. The crowd was obviously very happy because naturally they want to see a World Heavyweight Championship match. And that was the end of that. Michael Cole on commentary said, he put over the fact that Heyman just manipulated Jay into defending his title. Unprepared. Just get that. Because the people really don't want to boo Braun Breaker. So Heyman is going to really be the key to this. On TV, him and MJF. He come off great here. He goes, I think so.
Well, extra flair that is not being captured on that.
Google Steam Tracksuit in incognito mode. Use DuckDuckGo on a real private browser.
World Heavyweight Champion. Last few weeks of Monday Night Raw, more than most of the Raws that we got on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, me too.
I honestly feel like the WWE is getting back to what they should be doing. A lot of that kind of, I don't know what it was during WrestleMania season, and a lot of it wasn't exciting, a lot of it wasn't promising, a lot of it was, I just kind of wanted it to be over. I'm slowly getting back into the mindset of, oh man, I can't wait to see where this goes. Oh, I'm excited about this. Oh man, I'm really excited about what's going on with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman, and where that takeover of Monday Night Raw is going to come from. Got tonight, and I really appreciate WWE for kind of getting on that boat and putting the throttle full speed ahead. I really do. I know a lot of people aren't looking forward to Jey Uso and Logan Paul, but there's no build there. And it's simply being used as a mid-card match on a show headlined by John Cena and Randy Orton this coming Saturday in St. Louis at Backlash. Jey Uso's not main eventing the show. Jey Uso and Logan Paul is just a stopgap, a bridge crossing for Jey Uso before he gets to what really matters, and that is Seth Rollins. And tonight, WWE took Jey Uso and Logan Paul, put her on the back burner because I think everybody knows who's going to win the match. Even though Logan Paul showed up at the end of the show, if you guys watched WWE social media, right after the show was over, Logan Paul sneak attacked Jey Uso. So they did the whole social media deal with them saving whatever he needed to do to Jey Uso after the show was over and just flashing it all over social media. But I think everybody knows that Jey Uso is not going to lose the WWE World Heavyweight Championship to Logan Paul. So what they did tonight is they fast-tracked the story that we all know is coming because he said it's coming. And Seth Rollins going after the World Heavyweight Championship. And they sent Paul Heyman out there to kind of manipulate and brainwash Jey Uso into giving Rollins a championship match not next week, not at night. We don't have to wait on it. It's better to get all of these characters and all of these stories integrated into the show because to where we are going, some sort of mega tag team match between Rollins and Breakker versus what I thought was going to be Punk and Reigns, but it looks more and more as the weeks go by that Roman Reigns is on an island somewhere and he's not returning until SummerSlam. So in his place is Sami Zayn, and that's not the worst of ideas. I love it. We all knew it was going to go to a no contest / DQ. We all knew Rollins was not going to win the championship here tonight, but this was stage one. This was setting the tone for what is eventually going to happen, and that is Seth Rollins winning the World Heavyweight Championship. We'll definitely talk about that. I like the way that they set it up. Paul Heyman with a mastercraft of a promo to start the show, which kind of got me a little bit scared because not only did he get some sun while out in Las Vegas or wherever he was vacationing, Punk and Sami Zayn tonight. Get into that. Love what they did going on into Backlash. Gunther and Pat McAfee. We will definitely get into that as well. I know I have talked about it here. We talked about it last Monday. We talked about it last Tuesday on Tuesday Night Titans with the Solid Monster. We all know where this is going, and I think everybody has kind of made the prediction and has landed in the boat of, yes, this is leading to Gunther and Bill Goldberg at Night of Champions or SummerSlam, the absolute latest in what is going to be Goldberg's last year as a professional wrestler, his retirement year, his retirement match against Gunther. Now, you can sit there and say that Pat McAfee and Gunther doesn't do anything for you. You can sit there and make the negative statement that I made last week saying that this match on a Backlash show, which last week only had 4 matches announced, one of these matches out of 4 was being taken up by a commentator, getting in the ring as an in-ring competitor against one of the best in the world. Last week, I had somewhat of a hesitation to really jump all in on this storyline. Tonight, I'm jumping all in on this storyline because not only did Pat McAfee cut a great promo last week, which Tommy Dreamer on Busted Open Radio said it was one of the best promos, top 10 promos in WWE history. I don't know what the fuck he was smoking. I don't know what David Recca is shelling out on fucking Busted Open Radio, man. One of the top 10 promos of all time. No, that was not one of the best top 10 promos of all time. I don't know where the fuck he got Gunther as well. And he's using words like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to maim you. He's going, well, tonight. We also had Becky Lynch. Again, I'm not enjoying her heel work, but I'm enjoying what it's doing to Lyra Valkyria. It's breaking Lyra out of that shell. It's making Lyra a little bit more likable. It's getting Lyra a little bit more time on the microphone, which we have not had that happen since she Intercontinental. Rusev is going to be slotted in on the roster as a babyface or as a heel. I think tonight pretty much solidified that. And Rusev is 100% a heel. We're killing it in May already. Thank you guys. We got 20. So make sure you guys leave a rating.
I'm Christy Nolan, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald. I know.
Now let's say Denise. Oh wait, whoop, my bad.
So whether it happens at Backlash or whether it happens over on Jay Uso doesn't have a match for Backlash. I feel like he should. I'll circle back on Oscar and Laura super chat here in a second. Speak now, pro wrestling. You came in with it.
That was pretty good. So that was a nice little mix.
I was like, damn, dude. I was like, don't put yourself in that. Do not do it. Do not do it. Anyway, that being said, we got Raw to get into here today. And Santi, at the start of this, you kind of mentioned that you weren't expecting Raw to be this good today. I feel like I didn't think Raw was bad today. However, the things that I did like on the show were a little far and few in between. Like I could pinpoint the exact things that I loved on the show, but I don't know that I was like blown away by it, you know?
Sure. No, I'm interested to hear like what parts of the show you didn't like because there was nothing on the show that I didn't resonate with. I thought that the show was pretty solid throughout. There were some parts that were like, okay, that's fine. But I really loved the main event and what they were up to with it. I mean, we could probably start there, honestly.
I think we should because I'm gonna be real with you. Like the first few minutes of this main event, I was thinking to myself, man, I'm not really invested. And I will tell you that I made a full 180 by the end of the Conti. I was thinking to myself, I'm so embarrassed. You wanna know something? I bit at the end. Even though I knew all my best judgment. I knew that Jay Uso was gonna, either win or not lose his championship, right? That's some crazy, DQs or whatever was gonna happen, right? I knew that. But I still bit after the second spear from Braun Breaker when Seth went in there. I thought, oh my god, they better not do Jay so dirty like this. But then CM Punk's music hit and I thought, oh thank god. Wiped him out with some chairs, wiped out Seth. I don't think they ever actually rang the bell, but that was basically how the match ended.
I think that's why. Yeah, I think that's why I found it so brilliant. I think me, you, and everybody that's watching and listening to the show, we all knew shenanigans was going to be the way that this was going to end. I think we all expected a disqualification finish, and that's exactly what we got. You would think, oh my god, WWE is so formulaic, so simple. We saw it coming a mile away. Yeah, I saw the DQ coming a mile away, but the way that they took me through the journey to the predictable ending, I thought was masterful. They basically gave us a bloodline match in the middle of the year.
Breaker win and capped in immediately. I didn't like that. I don't know why it wasn't the Monday briefcase.
But I did, just like you said, I thought that once we got the second stomp, I'm like, that's it, it's over. I did when Jey Uso hit the splash. I'm like, wow, Seth's actually going to get big here. There were so many moments where I thought that WWE hit my expectations and we're going to go in a different direction. Whether it was like Seth actually losing clean or Seth walking out with the World Heavyweight Championship. And at these points in the match, I forgot about the most logical conclusion, which was a disqualification. So they gave us the predictable ending, but my goodness, the journey there was so well executed.
And you know what else I kind of got nervous about for a split second during all of this madness? With Sami Zayn being out there was a little moment where I thought, what if he actually ends up helping out Seth Rollins instead of Jey Uso? And he did. Once he got that spear from Braun Breaker, I knew for a fact, okay, good, he's not going to be like linked up with them or anything like that. But it was still like there was a slight moment where I thought, well, what if, And I got a little scared. But no, I do agree with you. I think that the journey of how they took me through it all to finally get to the end, it was good. It worked out, and I think it needed it.
We have some breaking news.
What?
Logan Paul attacks Jey Uso after the match. Because I was wondering what's going on with this Logan Paul stuff and Backlash. So that's still happening, but
I was just talking about this, Santi. That match was never made official, apparently. I thought it was.
So I knew it wasn't official, but I was like, they're gonna make it official on Raw.
Right, okay.
Right?
Okay.
Like So this is weird. It almost feels like they are going in like there was a last minute pick. The way that the Logan Paul and Jay Uso stuff started to develop, I'm like, okay, they're going through this really quick, 2 weeks backlash. But it looks like we're not getting the World Heavyweight Championship at all on Backlash.
So wait, so the attack, okay, so the attack happened after the show went off the air. Okay, good. Because I was wondering the same thing that you were, where it was like, okay, I actually thought for a second that they had already made this match official and assumed they did. And so I was wondering why Logan Paul hadn't been on the show. And now that you said that there was an attack, I'm wondering if they're going to put this match on Backlash or if they're going to put it on Saturday night's main event. Because you can't forget that's happening too, even though, like, I'm going to be real with you, Saturday night's main event has sort of just been like a missable show.
It's
You don't
ass.
really
You
have
can
to
say
watch.
it's ass. It's Saturday night's main event is for the B's and U's and the hardcore viewers of professional wrestling. It's frustrating because they refuse to move the needle at Saturday night's main event. They refuse to make decisions that impact day-to-day storytelling. Hell, I remember when it was Jey Uso versus Gunther at the last Saturday night's main event. Jey Uso loses, and then he comes out the next day and does like a celebratory entrance with Travis Scott, if you remember that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and we were like, why?
Why?
He just
Yeah.
lost at Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. It's a different multiverse. But I could see this happening at Saturday night's main event.
Even now that you say that, now that you said it's like it does, like anything that happens on the show almost feels like it doesn't matter. I'm like thinking to myself, that kind of sucks because I feel like Jey Uso as a champion, especially as a champion that a lot of people have their eyes on. There's a big spotlight on Jey, right? Like there's a big people are ready to criticize him as a bad. People are ready to say he is a bad champion, right? We know that because he's had mixed. People have had mixed feelings about Jey Uso, right? So if you don't have him on the Backlash card, me, that's kind of them saying like, oh well, it wasn't really as important to put it on the biggest match, the biggest card for this month. So I feel like this match should still be added to the Backlash card. I don't think they should wait to Saturday night's main event. And I know they have like what 6 matches I think already announced, or a couple matches already announced for Backlash. And I just think it should be on that show.
Yeah, so they currently have 5 because they added Dominic Mysterio versus Penta to the show, kind of randomly as well, with very, very little, like, it just felt very unceremonious how they came about to that match. But yeah, like, there's just so many moving pieces with that main event, and it started off the back of that amazing back and forth. I guess I should call it a back and forth. It was just pretty much Paul Heyman carrying the promo at the start of the show.
Yo, all right. So we need to get into that because I don't even know how to describe this. Paul Heyman crashed out is what he did. He just started going off, and what I was saying was he was like trauma dumping on Jey Uso. If he goes out there, mind you, Jey Uso's been doing his own thing. He's not even really like all that involved with the bloodline stuff anymore. But Paul Heyman goes out there and recaps the entire history of the bloodline and all of this stuff, right? And then I remember what he said during this part where I was so focused and I was so enthralled by his face on. He was like, I don't even know how to.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna die.
I
thought he was gonna die.
Dude, exactly. What did you think of Paul's promo? Because I just thought he went off the rails, but I kind of loved him going off the rails.
I mean, it worked for me. I thought it was fantastic. I loved how cartoony it kind of got. I think it kind of worked for me, especially knowing afterwards that he was putting on a ruse to try and get Jey Uso to agree to this World Heavyweight Championship match. But I do like the fact that this promo addresses a lot of these weird plot holes that I always asked about throughout last year. Like, why didn't CM Punk help Paul Heyman at any moment? Why didn't Roman Reigns ever come back to help Paul Heyman? So it's nice seeing Paul Heyman being realistic and holding these grudges against these people that never came to help him when he was in the biggest time of need. And it's also interesting to hear how much credit he takes for building Roman Reigns, right? He talked about how he took a stray dog with no home and turned him into the tribal chief, turned him into the best, biggest champion
to the face of the company, and he lost all of that when he chose to attack Seth Rollins instead of focusing on the championship. Look, I really like the stuff that led to the match. I thought the promo was great. I thought the match was fantastic. CM Punk is out there. CM Punk is back in the picture. But now let me do a little bit of math for you, okay? Denise, all right? I already did this math. I did this
I'm
math.
excited.
I did this math for my viewers during my watch along, all right? One hand, all right? So we have Sami Zayn, CM Punk, and Jey Uso. On the other hand, we have Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. It looks like these guys are all about to have a match, but it looks like we have uneven numbers. It looks almost as if we need a third member over here. It's almost adding too perfectly here.
That leads me to Oscar Laura, who says maybe Logan is the next member. Logan Paul does kind of fit into this, though.
I don't like it. I just don't like it. But like, sure.
Just for a match, though. Just for a match.
For a match, sure.
I don't think for him to actually be part of this group, though. That I don't feel makes sense. But here's the thing, though. Apparently, the original plans were that they weren't necessarily planning on adding another member to Seth and Braun's stable. However, the internet ran with it, right? Like we're all watching it and we're all expecting for there to be a new member added to Braun and Seth. And I don't know if maybe all of the buzz that there was on the internet, people trying to decipher who's going to be the next person, if that's going to cause them to pivot and actually add a fourth member to the group.
I think so. I mean, it makes sense to me with the way that this show ended. It just makes sense. You know, like I am a person that where numbers don't lie, and the numbers indicate that we need to have one more person be added here. As you said, it could be a one-off to just even out the odds to give us a six-man tag match, or it could be the full-blown debut of this new member of the faction.
What do you think that could be?
Well, we saw Karrion Kross. Now, I'm not saying Karrion, I know. How wrong do you feel, by the way? How bad do you feel about being so anti-Karrion Kross and now he's like the most over thing? We'll get back to that in a second.
All right, fine. We'll get back to it.
Yeah, don't you worry. I'm not letting you off the hook regarding Karrion Kross. But we saw him talking about Fury potentially and the things that are going on there. He could be the one that whispers into Fury's ears that could maybe lead to him finally moving away from Grayson Waller. It seems like they brought back that dead storyline of Austin Theory maybe leaving Grayson Waller, and it seems very apropos with the timing that we have that Grayson Waller and Theory might break up, and the future might need one more member.
Look, sure, all those ideas are great. I'm going to be honest with you. I have two guys that I would like to see on there. The problem with my two guys, my top two picks, is that they're both out due to injury right now, and I don't exactly know when they're going to come back. However, we're kind of getting around those months where I do think one of those guys will be coming back soon. Ideally, if I had my pick of anybody of who it could be, I wish that it was Bronson Reed.
Okay.
Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins, they have history, right? Bronson Reed last defeated Seth Rollins. What if there was a respect type of situation where Seth said, you know what, I've been in this ring with this crazy monster, and you know what, I respect him, he's crazy, whatever, bring him into the group. Because they talk about the future, Santi. Like, they talk about the future so much, so you need to have guys that are really going to be the future. So I think about Bronson Reed as an example of that. And another one that I would selfishly really, really want, because Braun Breaker is so intense, right? Like, he's an intense dude. Think of another person who's out with injury who's really intense too. Ilya Dragunov. I would be over the freaking moon if I saw either of those two options in this group.
Everything that I'm seeing is like Ilya Dragunov is not until September, but that could be a fun misdirection, right? Feeding, the news to the world that it's not till September, only for him to come back in the summer. That'd be cool. I wouldn't hate it if it was Ilya Dragunov, by the way. I think that I would prefer Ilya over Bronson Reed, like if you had me pick one or the other.
You're not a Bronson Reed fan, Santi?
No. I love Bronson Reed. I think that he's fantastic. I think he's
I was
great.
going to say, because I own the Bronson Reed fan club.
No. I'm over here. I love a
good charcuterie board of Bronson's
The
team.
match was 5 minutes.
But
I didn't like that match.
I
I just
feel
like
like out of those two, Ilya is the better choice.
All right, fair. That's fair. I get it. But yeah, those are my top two options. And who I would like to see added to this group. But do you think they actually do need to add somebody, or do you think they're fine just like skating by?
I think they need to add somebody. I mean, there's a reason why the internet ran with this. You know, not that the internet's always right. You know, more often than not, I think they're stupid. But
you
I
can
think in this
compare
one,
it all
I
you
feel
want.
like
You wait on the Reigns and you wait on new bloodline. So
there
you can
is
compare
something.
it. You can
I
deny
do
all you
feel
want. This
like
is just
when
you
talk
getting
about
back
Seth
on the
Rollins
Reigns.
coming
It's
and
always been
guy
about
the
Seth
future,
Rollins getting one over
is
on
it almost
somebody.
sounds like
It's
future
always
what
been about, oh, you
Braun
owning
Breaker, that can't
Roman
be right.
Reigns.
You know, I would
You
think
didn't
that the
turn.
future is
You didn't
multiple
break up the
people.
Shield
And I just
because
can't
you
help
wanted to be the
whether they want, whether
you
it's intentional or
because you
not.
wanted
I can't
authority.
help but compare
You
this
didn't
to
just break up the
Evolution.
Shield
And I
because
know
you
I
wanted to be
shouldn't.
your
I'm
own
doing
man
that
with
to
the
myself.
authority.
Maybe that's
You
setting
broke up the
myself up
Shield to
for
get one over Roman Reigns.
disappointment. But the comparison is there, and it's not just by me; it's by a lot of people.
No, I agree with you. I feel like that was instantly what a lot of people said. All right, we got Anthony Giuliano here. He says Backlash is that 5-match format by Triple H. Yeah, usually kind of like those shorter match cards and whatnot. Right now, honestly, looking at that Backlash card, I'm most excited for the United States Championship match. And honestly, the McAfee Gunther matchup is what I'm oddly intrigued by. So with that being said, let's get into that. Gunther and Pat McAfee, they had a confrontation today. So last week, Pat McAfee cut like this hella good babyface promo, dude. He was talking about life, the crowd and death of work. They were behind him. And now we are here basically seeing him go face to face with Gunther. And Gunther brings up his daughter, his 2-year-old daughter. And I'm thinking, oh, this is the savage Gunther that I want. And he just
Up here, you have my full and I
Well,
really
not
think
for
that
5
it needs to
minutes.
be an utter
I didn't like that the match
complete
went 5
destruction.
minutes. I don't know what. First of all, I don't like that. And the way how they booked the feud and how they booked the match, a lot of people are comparing
I
it
got thoughts
to
on that,
Samoa Joe
but
and Brock Lesnar.
I
How
really
that was
am
done.
shocked as to how
That
invested
match
I
went
am.
5 minutes, and
I
like Small Joe
and
went
when
1
they
5.
announced this, I was like,
you have to remind people of who that Gunther is, that guy. Remind people who that is. And when Pat McAfee said that Gunther was soft, oh, dude, that's when I thought, okay, he's really done for right here, then there. And I thought, yeah, sure, maybe he's soft enough, but that chocolate brother is not gonna be. So I'm looking forward to this. Okay, so let's get into the thoughts though about gold. Because I can see this happening. I can see the correlation. I can see him coming in here and this being the catalyst to eventually getting to that Gunther Goldberg match. Because we know this has been said in an interview with ESPN that Goldberg's last match is happening in WWE this year. And he basically alluded and gave us as many Easter eggs as we possibly could. He told us without telling us it's going to be Gunther. And we've known this also with what happened at Bad Blood last year. So, do you hate it? Are you here for it, Santi?
I hated less. All right, I hated it when it was when the ball started rolling up Bad Blood. I was like, oh no, this is going to be a WrestleMania match. And, oh no, it's going to be for the World Heavyweight Championship. And oh no, Goldberg's going to be our new World Heavyweight Champion. Now I hate it less. I hate it less for several reasons. I hate it less because it's not for the World Heavyweight Championship. I hate it less because it's not at WrestleMania. So I'm now more okay with it than not. If you are so dead set on doing it, it looks like this is a collision course that we're going to anyway. I'd rather it be just a bully being taken out by a bully hunter. Right? I don't need this on at WrestleMania. I don't need this for a world title. Just make this a big old exhibition match. I am cool with that. And you know, when you look at the schedule of what's coming around the corner, it makes sense. It could be Saturday night's main event. I could definitely see that being a type of match for that. I could see this being at the upcoming Night of Champions, that Saudi show. Goldberg loves those Saudi shows. That's where he has appeared for the majority of his last several matches in the WWE. So I could see it happening there. I'd rather it not be at SummerSlam, if I'm being honest with you. I'd rather Gunther get something a little bit better and easier for SummerSlam, something a bit more interesting. But the most important thing here, Lisa, is Goldberg cannot win. Goldberg cannot win. And I want to believe in my heart of hearts that we now live in an era of WWE where they can recognize that Goldberg should not be beating your full-time count. I want to believe that. But every piece of evidence that we've had with anything related to Goldberg over the last several years is that they just love giving Goldberg wins. And that just cannot happen in 2025.
I don't think it would. I really don't think it would. I think this is going to be the, believe it or not, a passing of the torch moment of, okay, you know what? I'm no longer that guy. This was a great moment. I went down by somebody who is very, very scary, right? Like Goldberg isn't going to be taken out just by anybody, right? It's going to be Gunther, a scary kind of fella. And look, I know that people aren't excited about it. The last couple of Goldberg matches that we've seen, while they were kind of sad, you know, I'm really, really hoping that this match is fast, that it's effective, and that at the end of it, that I actually end up standing up and going, you know what, respect. You know, that's kind of how I want to feel coming out of that matchup. And again, I want to see it just to be, I just want it to be fast. I want it to be fast. That's usually what works best for Goldberg. So we'll see. It could happen. Because you got to ask yourself this question. Why? Why would they do Pat versus Goldberg? Was there really nobody else? Or, I don't know. Why? That's the only thing I can think of. So if this is the entryway for Goldberg, then this is the reason why they're doing it. And if not, then this is just a way for them to get Pat McAfee to be completely bloodied up and beaten by Gunther just to get his aura back.
I
And then we
think it
got
has to
2
be
minutes.
Goldberg.
The match with 2 minutes.
I really like.
This
I
had
don't
nobody
see
go
any
for
other
it. The match with,
end
I don't know
goal
what to say about
to
this
make
man. This
this
was
a
fucking boring.
worthwhile big old
This match should
slog.
win 2 minutes.
You know,
Exactly, the match went 2 minutes.
what I would
2
like to
minutes.
see me personally
The match went
is
way
for the
too
match to
long.
end
It
and
went 10
Goldberg
minutes. It
continue
was
to destroy
absolutely
Pat
fucking.
McAfee. That's what triggers Goldberg to come out.
I don't
What I
know what
don't
the
want
fuck
to
did we
see
watch
is
this match.
I don't want to see
The match was
Goldberg come out
boring.
and
The
help
match
Pat
was stupid.
McAfee.
It going 10 minutes.
Good God, no.
Oh,
Why the
my
fuck do you
God.
do
No.
that?
No.
He
They
doesn't
can't.
deserve that.
No.
Kill his aura. And they've already kind of diminished his aura a little bit, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they need to get it back. And they can't do that to Gunther. No way. I would be
Yeah.
so pissed. All right,
Yeah,
we got
we're-
Bob Ross Jr. here. Says, you can tell that WWE trusts Julia so much that she is basically involved in storyline in NXT and main roster double duty. Yeah, she is. She's killing it. I'm excited to see the next week's match. They announced, what do you call it? Julia and Roxanne versus Rhea and Io. So when they announced this match, I could not believe it. I'm like, all right, here we go. Like, I love Roxanne Perez after that little bit that we saw of their tag team match on NXT and just seeing the moments with Io Sky. Because I wanted to see more of Io and Roxanne. And afterwards, they do a handshake, right? Julia. So it did take me a little bit back to front here. But anyway, she attacked Io Sky from behind. Rhea was there to help. She's in Australia, so this kind of left her to get beaten too on.
So far, it's
Probably the
like
last
this
thing
episode.
last week.
But this just makes more sense.
Automatically think of Julia. When the pairing started with Julia and Roxy, the Survivor Series, okay, I knew there was one. I just couldn't remember which one. We got Steven Marchulli here who says, I'd say add Mello or Bianca. I love Carmelo, man, but he's kind of doing stuff with the Miz right now, so I don't think they'll do that. Plus, he's over on SmackDown. Who knows? I don't know what the rules are anymore. Who can jump or what? We got Anthony Giuliano here who says, I heard Goldberg coming to save Pat McAfee to set up Goldberg versus Gunther at SummerSlam. I heard Goldberg's retirement match. Yeah, so that's kind of the ongoing theory right now. Thank you, Anthony. We got Bob Ross Jr. who says, I've seen enough. Io Sky current women's world title reign is way better than her last title reign because they're showing her much more respect on it. Do you recall last time she was champion? She was the background.
And on top of that, she would only ever win matches because of damage control. This time, like we're getting like a proper singles championship run from Io Sky. So yeah, like this is significantly better. Yeah, I would agree.
We got Nell D here says, did you guys see Finn talking to Roxanne backstage? I didn't catch this with the chat.
When he left,
Minimum, I can think of.
I thought months as well.
Gosh. Not putting in the work to improve. Yeah, so I was talking about that earlier, and it's one of the he said, she said things, right, Santi? Like, at the end of the day, how your, you know, if your manager or your supervisor in any job deems you lazy, that's like their view, but
I don't buy it because I usually find that lazy people are the best at not getting fired. I was so lazy at Target. Like, let's get rid of this hangover. Not lazy. I'm on the sidelines.
me as her being in character, to be honest. Like, I was
Sure.
reading that as her being
That we just received. What is that?
if CM Punk was the one who saved wrestling from John Cena. Let's go, baby! Come on. Yeah, not my favorite matchup, so I would put this probably on the, since you were doing the math, probably on the side of matches I didn't really care for. Versus JD McDonough, not
It's a thing in this house. So now he keeps dating McDonough, and that gives him a nice 4-match card for this. Considering how much we charge for tickets these days, we got this match, and I think it ended up.
yeah, see, man, like, I need to go back and rewatch that segment with Jay and Logan, the first one that they did. I swore that they had announced it. I was like, oh.
I feel like that. I legit. Give me his lines.
Waller just decided to give this match to Austin Theory. Again, continuing to lead the theory that we are finally ending the scam tag team hero theory, and Grayson Waller has just seen Shayna back.
I just want him to do something. Give me his lines. I need that back. Cool to see Shayna's back. I feel like we have an IC champion that I think he could realistically be thrown and actually, complete the grand slam that we've been wanting him to complete. I feel like that. I legitimately could see
I have chased that time for 10 years. Ever since I came back from injury 10 years ago, in 2015, I've been chasing the IC title. I'm hoping that I win the IC finally. Now, I could have won it at Sunday Night Main Event. I could have won it at WrestleMania 39 real quick.
And that was Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyra. As fired. I was so.
She just started then. She mentioned Lemonade in a feud with Rhea for WrestleMania, and then she started. That's exactly.
I don't even. First wrestling show. What? First wrestling show? Holy cow.
Oh yeah.
Holy cow.
Going.
Part of what, like. Drew Roberts and wrote off this shit. Yeah, Drew Roberts wrote off this shit. I kept saying we need something a little bit more fireworks for Rusev. I didn't love the debut last time. Okay, fine. I was looking forward to this match because I love the beat, but this was just not it. This was not. I wanted more power. You got these big, meaty dudes. Give me more power. This was just not the match that I thought that it was going to be. And then afterwards, I did love the post-match stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love the post-match stuff. I not love. Love is not weird. I preferred the post-match stuff. That we saw afterwards instead of attacking Otis, and crying after with Maxine, and Natalia going to go comfort Maxine. All of that. That was fun, but no. That could have been an email, and I agree.
I can't disagree. I thought that the beatdown was probably the best part. It's interesting because I do it off with him killing Tozawa. Why it's not landing with me as of yet, but yet somehow our.
Well, it's Tozawa.
I feel like I think what I think part of the reason is that when I look at what they're doing with Aleister Black, there's a natural step two, right? And it's a step two that everyone is excited for, which is that match with Carmelo Hayes. What is step two for Rusev? Because they already
apparently
started.
it's Tozawa. It looks like they're gonna do that match.
Yeah,
and
but that's just.
Frankly, it might actually be better than what we saw today with Otis. It just
Tozawa can pull out some fascinating matches whenever you put him in that situation. I still just feel like what they're doing with Alistair, there's better road points that I'm more excited for. And I think it's just because I just don't find it interesting when they just book somebody to destroy Alpha Academy. It's never really landed with me, and it's not going to land here with Rusev.
Yeah, they had a chance here, I think, with this match to have it be like, okay, this is the saving grace of this whole story and all of that. But no, it just ended up being, to me, let me describe it as dry. It's just dry. Like, there's nothing to get out of it right now. And that's where I feel like it needs some work for sure. We got JJ Castillo here who says, stop from WWE Crown Jewel in Australia, rip the time zone on us watching this early. So I mean, they're gonna do the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia a couple months after, so I'm guessing this is why they got the Crown Jewel in Australia. I was reading some of the comments when they posted that, and I saw some of the Australian fans kind of being like, Australia deserved better. They deserved a better people. They deserve better. Australia, but no, it's gonna work out much better.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't believe this happened. The super says great show, sorry. Excellent. Bye everyone.
All right, think I talked about this enough. And this is what we got on the show. Jay's was 1 with 20 minutes. And that's what we saw on the show. Contact Jay. So.
And I think, like I said, Breaker would make a really interesting story. Seth Rollins is the champion celebrating with Paul Heyman by his side, and Heyman is standing there in between a world champion and a briefcase holder. We already saw how stressed out Paul Heyman was and how intense he was. And we've seen how stressed out he can be in the past with the bloodline and everything they did to him. And he sometimes looks like a very, very unhealthy man when he's having a stressful time in his life. And I think if he has to sit there and worry about Rollins, his crown jewel, being threatened by this rabid, intense animal that just happens to be my friend, and he's got a guaranteed anytime, any place championship match in his hand, I'd be freaking out too. So I think that could make for fun segments on TV. You know, Rollins may be taking the loyalty of Braun Breaker for granted. That always happens too, right? Rollins will probably be unthreatened by the briefcase because he's so delusional. He thinks Breaker is just going to be loyal to him no matter what, and he probably even say so on the mic.
Outside the ring, Breaker cuts Sammy in half with a proper spear, not one of those Jey Uso spears. Paul Heyman gets up on the apron. He's distracted.
Like I said, I would not be surprised. This is just a prediction. Cena's going to need, I don't know if he's going to be on those Saturday Night's main event shows. I would say maybe he's going to be on at least one of them this year. But being that it's his last year, I don't know why they have been working those shows. They have him, they might as well use him. I could absolutely see Sheamus being brought back to build to a middle of the road match for John Cena, going back to challenging John Cena and kind of giving back to what they did in that year where Sheamus and John Cena did the WWE Championship. I think that would be great.
She's really starting to kind of come out of herself and becomes a character.
Was that they really focused so heavily on being as like the underdog baby face because Roman didn't even care about Seth. Like Roman went and did his own thing, you know, even though they said they were going to get revenge on Seth and it was really Dean who did it. But I was like, the whole time you're rooting for Dean, and they would just take more and more shits on him. Had these amazing matches, and it's like, dude, he's ready. I think they should put the title on him, and they still didn't give him the title until it was absolutely too late, and they already were like, oh, we're ready for AJ Styles. Not to mention they put him on the same brand with AJ Styles, and they really fucked over Dean Ambrose. I don't give a fuck if now everybody's narrative is that he's gay and they hate him. Rocky 3. Fucking 10 years ago, y'all would have fucking sung a different tune. You fake fucks.
Well, I changed my tune on Dean when I saw him carry the title. I went, wow, this guy is like, it just all fell apart the second he won the belt.
Wait, do you mean the first time?
I don't think so. I don't even remember.
Bad in Tokyo, directed by Taka. I'm like I'm late to it, but I just
They have to run this match back on a proper, pay-per-view at some point. So you knew there was going to be some kind of finish. It ended up being a very good match.
I said, I'm just playing with you.
So the main event.
the door. Same team, you're not late. $5. I may be late.
In WWE go, wow, he did not elevate their belts. So the last fucking 10 weeks or longer, where we never see him with the belt. That is the dumbest fuck thing.
But we got CM Punk back on TV, so this is their way of reintroducing him. How soon now before we see Roman Reigns? We'll probably want to space it out a little bit. I can't imagine we don't have Roman back in time for Money in the Bank. I think the match for Money in the Bank is Punk and Roman finding a way to coexist and coming together as tag team partners, taking on Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. I think that's the Money in the Bank match. I was also surprised they didn't announce Logan Paul and Jey Uso for Backlash because I covered it when I did my predictions this weekend as if it was all but official because I thought it was happening on Saturday. And then it wasn't announced. And instead they gave us a world title match tonight, unannounced on TV. So that surprised me. I'm guessing they're going to save it for Saturday night's main event. And I understand that. That makes sense because Jay and Logan were not going to like main event Backlash, right? They're in St. Louis. It's John Cena. It's Randy Orton. We know they're closing the show. We know that's the attraction. It's almost like nothing else even really matters in the grand scheme of things on that show. So why not save Jay and Logan for Saturday night's main event? Let them headline that show. The last time they did Saturday night's main event was in January. Jey Uso main evented that show. He challenged Gunther for the World Heavyweight title and lost. So I can see Saturday night's main event being the night to do that match. That's coming up on May 24th. As far as the show tonight, very good show, especially as go home shows. Now, Friday is technically the go home show, but this was the final Raw before Backlash. I think on its own, even just independent of it being a go home show, it's a very good show. As what you would call a go home show, they did a strong job of selling one match. That's it. One match. That's Gunther against Pat McAfee. And to that end, they did a very good job with that. I can't say that anything else they did on the show got me any more or less excited for anything else happening on the show on Saturday, except for that match. And I am genuinely looking forward to seeing what those guys can do and what kind of match Gunther can pull out of Pat McAfee. We've seen Pat before. He's wrestled matches before. A handful. Even going back to NXT. And on the main roster, he had a SummerSlam match one year with Baron Corbin, and he had a WrestleMania match with I think it was Austin Theory, and so I mean we've seen him have some matches before, and he's done well.
Recycling. Because she's been recycling the same moves and the same tired old for years. Lyra didn't care about that. Sure.
Tracks. You stepped up there and private browser.
15.2% thumbs in the middle, and just shy of 10% thumbs down. So overall, a thumbs up to the Raw before Backlash. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Here we go. There we go.
Now before Dawn,
I don't know if they should have done that. It's gonna be really
No, the
confusing.
funniest shit is they
But the movie was really good.
Once against Dakota Kai. Am I in the ballpark? Somebody look that up. Twice. Becky Lynch had now made 3 appearances on WWE TV. 3. WrestleMania. The Raw after Mania. Last week. And this 4 straight weeks. Becky. Factual. 4 or 5 times, really. I gotta look it up. Now. Otherwise, it's gonna bother me. I gotta look it up. We'll go to cagematch.net. We'll go to Tony Khan's favorite website, Cage Match. Let's look at Lyra. 4 times. It was 4 times. Is it really 4 times? Let's see. Oh, Bailey. She defended against Bailey. That's right. I forgot about it. Better best of the match. But honestly, I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't remember that. Bailey. Raquel. That's right. Ivy Nile and Dakota Gut. Chat is right. The chat was right. You guys are right. You guys are smart, man. Listen. You can't expect me to remember Lyra versus Raquel Rodriguez. Who's gonna remember that, man? Who's gonna remember that? Bailey, I'm ashamed I don't remember that. It was a very good match. But I remember Ivy. I remember Dakota. 4 times. So I guess that statement's correct. Because Becky's made 4 appearances, and Lyra has defended the title 4 times. So Lyra is factually correct in her promo to Becky. So we don't need to call wrong on Lyra's promo. Lyra said Becky Lynch had no intention of taking anyone else to the top with her. Again, could be looked at as a factual statement. Becky Hogan, Mercedes Hogan, Charlotte Hogan. I mean, a lot of these women, man, are taking influence from the Hulks. So, Lyra went on to say, or actually Becky went on to say to Lyra, right, that everyone had the best year of their career while she was gone. But that was because she wasn't around to compare themselves to. It wasn't Becky Lynch's job to help anybody. It was her job to beat everybody because she's the greatest to do it. That wasn't just her saying. Sports Illustrated, she said, called her the best ever. Are we really just resting our steampunk glasses? Becky on Sports Illustrated, give me a break. Is Becky Lynch the greatest of all time? No. Is she up there? Yes. Is she the greatest? No, she. Lyra said Lynch must hate it that she was the first ever women's intercontinental champion. You can sit there and list all your accolades, but on because I'm the first. Lara said that Becky Lynch better enjoy second. Lara trying to shoot shot.
Gonna end the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. I made this video long enough. Make sure you guys hit that like button, leave a comment. I'll be back with more. Until next time, this is Jacob Cat.